Go on, Mr. Maps.
Yo, what it do, what it is.
What it is, big man? Are you alive and kicking?
Nah, I'm alive. Can't complain. It's getting to that season. It's merely leave. Last day in the office.
Must be nice. Tinabanye, we work in industries where we don't close. So this whole closing for December thing is a myth to some of us. Yeah, so if I had to take even Easter actually, if I had to take a break like during December, it's not like Mhlaga 16 hits and then we close offices. For us, Mhlaga 16 hits and then people start seeing, okay, who can take leave, who's traveling, who's staying to support.
Yeah, it's one of those. I mean, it is technically it's a balancing act with us as well. But like for most people, it's just kind of keep an eye on your shit, and then everything else will be fine. One good day's work will take care of anything that you do over a week. But I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm at that point where I'm burned out from the year. It's been a long, fantastic year, absolutely fantastic year. But yeah, it's taken a lot out of me as well. So I think it's time to recharge those batteries and just kind of take it easy.
Come back fresh the following year.
Exactly. So it really is, it's time. It's time. Be with the family. Think about your priorities in life, and those type of things. And I think that's what I can say about that. But otherwise, guys, welcome back. It's another episode of 6 Foot Weights, your penultimate episode. I think we'll give you guys one more before we sign out for the year. It's your favorite hour with your favorite cheese boys. My name is Tabo.
My name is Senna.
And yeah, we're back again. Not a long time for a short time. $5 short time. We're within. We've got a couple of things that we need to get into, couple points of order. I think Zama, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I'll have to double check. I think where we left off last week was the whole Good Morning America situation. Obviously messy. Long story short, for most people, you're already aware, 2 colleagues, I'm sure Senna knows their names. They had been smashing. They both are anchors at Good Morning America, which is a talk show, your typical talk show in America.
It's like morning live in South. I remember morning live in South Africa with Leanne and Vusi. Every morning, I don't know how they always do it. It's always that's with morning shows, right? It's always 2 people, men and women, with really good chemistry.
That's what you're looking for, right? If you're like a casting agent or whatever, you're looking for people that have natural chemistry. So like, I feel like we could anchor a show, right? And it will be a good show because you and I, we have chemistry. It would just be natural, and people can because obviously people tune in for authenticity. And you want to have that in a show where people are like, oh, I can tune in and I can do, I can listen and it feels great. So what they kind of deliberately put is a man and a woman. I think that's where it now becomes tricky.
Yes.
So you'll still be looking for chemistry for those 2 women or 2 men. But the problem is now when you go man and woman, and then you see consistent, it's like, I assume it's like a 1-hour show. Like let's say Good Morning America is probably a 1-hour show every single day, and I don't know how long they've been on the show, but I'm sure it's a few years, right? So it's like, I'm sure that cabin fever hits because it's early mornings is the first person you see. Obviously, you see your person when you wake up in the morning, right? But like your workday starts, let's say if it's a production that is, some of these things, I think Akra song was 6x8, right, or 7 in the morning. And if that's where Good Morning America starts, and it's one of them live shows, there's pre-production, all these things, meaning that they probably need to be in the office at 4 in the morning, right? 4 in the morning, you're groggy, and then it's someone that you have natural chemistry with. So like you guys are both bitching about, oh man, we're here at 4 in the morning and la la la. It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope. So I see Anyway, so before we even get into that other part, for people to understand the context, two colleagues started smashing and they're both married. The rumor apparently is that they were separated at that point from their spouses when the relationship started. But again, it's I don't know if it's confirmed or not. That's what people are just putting out there. Again,
so the guy's name, for context, he's a Black American, in his, I think he's probably in his 40s or early 50s. TJ Holmes. And then the woman is, I think it's Amy Roback. I'm not sure how you actually pronounce it, whether it's CH, whether it's Amy Robash or Amy Roback. But yeah, they're the two people hosting the thing. And yeah, man, it looks like they had way beyond good chemistry, so you can continue, Mr. Maps.
Just confirming here, what time does Good Morning America come on? Yeah, so Monday to Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 2 hours.
Yeah, so it's always about 2 hours.
So yeah, so like realistically, these guys need to be in the studio by, like, let's say 5 or 6, right, to get everything ready. So yeah, I can understand where some of these things are coming from, and it's a dangerous thing, right? Because what ends up happening in a lot of industries, not even just this. Especially with, so like, I think I mentioned this once on the podcast some episodes ago, when you're in the world of consulting, consulting is notorious for these types of stories, right? Because it's even worse because you're, as a consultant, for like example, if you're consulting here in the UAE, a lot of the time your biggest clients are going to be either in Qatar or they're going to be in Saudi. For a lot of us in the GCC region, Saudi's like, that's where the real money is, right? So you'll see Uti, a team of Owens will be traveling to Saudi, and you're out of the country or you're in Saudi rather, from Monday, and then you're flying back in on Thursday or flying back in on Friday, depending on what your work week looks like. And it's you and your team, right? So it could be a team of 3, it could be a team of 5, whatever. So like these things happen where it's like you're stuck in a hotel, right? It's not your city. You're not in Dubai where Usena and Tao and whoever, let's have drinks and whatever. You're stuck with your colleagues.
Yeah.
Then that cabin fever hits because like in 4 days a week, Sisonke in this hotel, at the Ritz-Carlton or whatever it is. And then it's like, shit can happen because now it's for the last 4 months we've been on this project, and you're the only person that I'm talking to, like literally 90% of the day. So these type of things can happen, but it's just about, you have to put safeguards to make sure these things don't happen, but yeah, the funny part was obviously when people started seeing, random TikToks of the two of them together. It was like, bro, it was Fitz and Olivia, it was, Ghost and what's that, the Latina chick's name? Oh, crap. Angie, exactly. It was Ghost and Angie. It was giving all of that, bro. And I was just there like, and you know how wild it is for people to want to be mad at you for cheating, but they're like, but we understand. Look at the chemistry.
You guys look in love.
It was looking like some Disney shit, running marathons together. Like it's just the way they were looking and
matching
smiling at
sneakers.
each other. No, it was a lot, bro. It was just like, hey, yeah, it's tense. It's tense. But one can only hope that it is true that they were separated from their partners. But what trick M17? This thing of work wife and work husband, like it starts off as bands. I don't know if you guys have that in your environment. If you have any colleagues that do that thing, oh yeah, this is my work husband. Oh yeah, this is my work wife. Like it's, it starts that way. You're eating lunches together.
Thank God I work. Thank God I work remotely.
Yeah, no, we work from home.
I'm not exposed to any of this.
It's very important. But it starts as bands, bros. I've seen it. It starts as bands, and then all of a sudden you're like, like funny things have happened. All I can say, but like these ones are always together. It's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess they're cool. Like, no, bro, they're having lunch every day. Like every day, every minute. Like the way they're looking at each other. I want to say, what's going on? So again, it's something that like it builds up, right? Because obviously from the first time you realize, oh, these two are hanging out or whatever, or these two are carpooling, right? You don't even pay it any mind. It's in village, just okay, whatever. This one and this one, come to the office together. Like they live in the same hood, whatever.
Hey,
it's like that Siazamo. That guy was who's telling us his girl wanted to live with a colleague so that they can carpool,
that was some bullshit.
Yeah, it was some wild shit. But again, people deal with that, right? So I'm sure there's in corporate South Africa, it's hella scandalous. Like it has to be because do you remember that video 100%. Of I think it was in the Discovery offices in Sandton where the two guys were caught on the two people were caught on tape fucking. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, Discovery, like right upstairs. I remember seeing the Twitter video. Like, people were recording it from... but that was silly because once you're like in a room and then you switch on the lights and it's dark outside, people outside can see very clearly what's happening.
Exactly. They gave no fucks, bro, in the photocopy room or wherever it was. This is just like, it's during the day, sure, right? Because you can't see into the buildings. Like, although I was staying at when I was in Joburg, last month, I was staying at the Radisson Blu and like you can see there's the old Mutual building right across, and I can literally see people's offices like fully. Like if I just look, I can see you sitting in your office, what you're doing. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I prefer the buildings that have the reflective glass because I'm like, why would you build a building that big?
I don't need to
where
see.
People can just see you. I don't like that.
Yeah, but I
know. So when you wouldn't care?
Employers don't care. So employers...
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Employers really be like, bruh, just work. Just do your work. You might find out their offices are tinted, but for the most part, everyone else has to kind of deal with the eyes looking in.
Yeah.
Back to the topic of morning hosts and work husbands and all these things. So I was actually just now, I did a little bit of research, not a lot. Good Morning Britain, for years, I think it was Piers Morgan and Susanna Reid, man and woman, they hosted it together. Good Morning America, like I said, it was TJ and Amy, they hosted it together. And then Morning Live in South Africa, remember it was Leanne Manas, that white woman, and Vuyombuli. They also did it together, man and woman, first thing in the morning for years. As like a team. I don't know what it is that makes producers pair them in that sense. Maybe they think that man and woman gives proper balance and then the chemistry is good. But if you're going to do that kind of work, probably for that amount of time, you're stirring a pot for weird things to happen, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just probably one of those kind of industry standards, right? Where it's just like, yeah, really in the industry, this is what we do. So it's just, I would say, like, for example, it's just certain things with companies, like they'll just have, whatever industry that you're in, it'll be, for us, for example, for like business travel, they always prefer for it to be same sex because it's cheaper, because now y'all can share a room, right? Whereas if you travel with a female colleague, it's like, shit, our accommodation cost just multiplied by 2. So it just depends on like industry and just standards. Whereas like I just think it's not a coincidence that all of these, you've picked 3 morning shows from 3 corners of the world, and it's the same archetype. I just think
formula.
It's probably some just old standard from Budala. Let's just get a man and a woman and let them, if they have the right chemistry. And I think it's dangerous in the sense that if you're looking for 2 individuals, a man and a woman, that have chemistry, I think it's already a dangerous formula for that industry specifically, because it's like you have chemistry, so you like each other, right? And it just becomes a slippery slope, because it obviously for 90% of us who come to the office, it's like I don't have chemistry with any of my colleagues. You know what I mean? Like we come in, we do a job, we go home.
Yeah.
So
do the work and
so it's for most of us that's what the case is. But then when you're now on TV, like you have to convince Otago that you guys really fuck with each other. You know what I mean? Like that's what gets the eyes to tune in.
I can see
that. So because you guys are going for that, it's very dangerous, because obviously it's like the Mafigizolo example that you gave a few weeks ago.
Yes.
Uti, ain't no way those guys haven't banked, because you can't sing love to really mean the lyrics in 90% of Mafigizolo's songs. You have to care Like there's abulas that know what
to a point.
No. Like to extent that you can't like sing. Think about one of my favorite songs that they've recently. Not it's not recent, but probably I think 2-3 years old, maybe even 4. It's called Tando Lwetu. And
Tando.
Is it? Yes.
Hey,
that one. Imagine singing that. Look up my Figizoro Tando Lwetu. If you can read the lyrics or even listen to even if you don't understand Ndebele, you can listen to that and be like, or no, don't listen. Watch the music video. I think that's the easiest one to do. Just watch the music video and tell me that these niggas are just doing a job. There's no way. Me personally,
you know what? I actually think Tando Lwetu was mild. They've got like slow ballads.
Yeah.
Like Umas Togoze.
Yeah. So you see, I haven't even gone in deep into the discography, right? But like that song, I picked it because that's one of my faves, and I like it because of the energy and stuff like that. But now, if we even go deeper into the other catalog, then at the end of the day, bro, it's there's no way you can look. Me personally, if that was my wife, right? If she was my wife, I wouldn't be cool, dog. I wouldn't be cool because it's like, nah. That shit looking too real. Like I can't do it.
Right?
It's just looking. You might tell me, no, Tabo, is my, like, listen, it's platonic.
We're professionals.
Nah. Don't give me that. Don't. Agulas are professionals.
But yeah, that just to piggyback off your example, it extends to like a lot of these things where the work wifey work husband dynamic is a thing. So with these two, as imagine you're their significant others, I guess, watching them every morning. What's going through your mind? You're like, oh no, it's just work or whatever, or you're thinking, hey, well, yeah.
I think this one is it's easier to put at the back of your mind, just because even if you, I would really like to, if there was a way to go back in time, right? So before like you and Nat brought this whole thing to my attention, I wish I could have watched those TikToks before knowing what had gone on, and known what my opinion would have been, right? I think now because my spectacles were colored, and I was looking for you see that one. So it's always one of those, like, so for example, if someone like comes out like, oh guys, I'm gay, right? All of a sudden, nah, nigga, what did you see? What did you see, dog? Like, you didn't see anything. Shit. You didn't see. No, hey, what? Relax. So I wish I could have gone back in time to see if I would have actually, been like, because now obviously if you watch the TikToks, it's like, nah, they have to be fucking. You know what I mean? Like that's what everybody. It's like confirmation bias. So I think if I was a spouse,
but do you think that
I would have probably let it slide. I'd have to watch an episode of Good Morning America, but I think it would have just been like, they're just really cool. I think that's where it would have ended for me.
I think the respective spouses actually let it go.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that stuff wasn't hidden.
Yeah.
It's not like there were a lot of the pictures that were eventually like on the front pages of the internet were leaked pictures. They weren't. There were literally pictures that some of them they posted themselves. Yeah. They were public. Journalists had gone to the marathon that they were running, and then they were busy talking about it. They have videos where they explain their preparation.
Even the one where the picture of them at dinner and stuff like that, it's like you can tell, Wuti, this is.
Yeah, you're like, okay, cool.
Dinner. It's like, oh, okay.
This is what it is.
But then now everyone's like, oh, look at how they're looking at each other. It's like.
Exactly. So even in those instances, I'm sure they gaslit the fuck out of their partners.
Yeah.
And some, me and TJ were homies.
Yeah.
Babe, stop being whatever. Maybe the wife was. Also, this black guy probably, TJ. He's got apparently a history of posting. And a history of posting his wife on a birthday said, I don't deserve you, you're a Begazela kind, blah blah blah.
Hey, Begazela hands are always going through it, eh?
So I can imagine that there was a point where she was like, I don't see you and Amy, I'm not cool.
Yeah.
And I can already see him saying, no, it ain't nothing, you're overthinking, you're being insecure, whatever.
Exactly.
In that scenario, when you say as a spouse, you're like, ain't no way.
Yeah, no,
Can
no,
you
no.
check that? Check
yeah,
that,
no, no.
that,
It's like
that relationship.
go and work for Good Night America, gay. You know, because it's like I. So good too much. And again, the sad part is that their chemistry makes a great show. That's the sad part about it, right? So
Yes.
it's like I'm sure the producers are like, yes, this is fantastic. You know, you guys are finishing each other's sentences. Yeah. This give me more, right? And it's like late you're destroying people's marriages, which is why I think like sometimes some of these things you have to be. I think what makes it more convincing is that I feel like you kind of have they're looking for family men and women, because I don't know if it would slap as hard if it was two single anchors. I don't know. Like, this is me just thinking, about this whole situation, right? If I'm a casting agent, I think the fact that, it's a married man with a family, a married woman with a family, this is kind of like, this is what America, lives up to, or wants to live up to, and like that's what they want to hear. That's who they want to hear from. People who have life, who are doing life nicely or whatever.
Do you think they intentionally cast them in that way so that they portray an image?
Yeah, absolutely.
Husband and wife.
Absolutely.
Like kind of like subliminally modeling what your life should be like, and who you should aspire to be.
Yeah.
Or make not aspire to be, but sort of people that most Americans or South Africans, or even in the UK with Piers Morgan and Susanna, it was your first couple that you see in the morning, bringing you the news and discussions.
I think it's supposed to mirror, what the majority of society is. So the majority of America in this case, they're supposed to mirror it, right? Because obviously you can't get UTJ and his actual wife, right? So think about movies, like Hollywood movies where, that movie with Beyonce or whatever, it wasn't Jay-Z who starred in the movie. It was Beyonce and some other guy who had to pretend to be his wife. To pretend to be the husband, right? Or those type of movies where it's like, obviously I know Uzwani is married and whatever. Like in Space Jam, LeBron had a whole different family. Those weren't his kids. That wasn't his wife.
Yeah.
Right. But then you can see, like, in Space Jam is a great example, because the way LeBron was acting, I could tell that's not his son. Because I've seen LeBron with his actual sons, right? And I've seen LeBron with his actual wife. The level of comfort there versus his acting, Lokuzin. And because LeBron is not a seasoned actor, he's a professional basketball player, right? So he couldn't convince me that this is, you know what I mean? Like that this is his real family in terms of fiction. So it always, to me, I was like, nah, those are not your kids. Like, even as much as they tried, like, because he's not the greatest of actors, right? He's just a professional athlete trying to be an actor. Like, I could see, but then other actors, who are more seasoned, double Maurice Chestnut and whatever, say, I believe for a fact that in Suits, Jessica was teeing this other black guy. It's not. He kind of looks like Maurice Chestnut, but I don't know what his name is. But they were a couple, and like,
wasn't it Maurice Chestnut?
No, I don't. Was it? I don't. No.
No, it wasn't.
It's not him. It's not him. But he looks like him.
But I remember the guy.
So in Suits, I was definitely convinced that, you know what, if someone told me that these guys are smashing in real life, I'd 100% believe it. If someone told me that Harvey and Donna were smashing in real life, I'd 100% believe that, because their on-screen chemistry.
You know that they call themselves besties
really?
In real life. Yeah. Harvey and
you know what the danger is? This is where the danger is. But yeah, we have to move on, bro. We have to move on. Let me see here. Speaking of, there was some funny shit that you sent me on Twitter. Dying, bro. And it brought up. It reminded me of a topic that I feel like we can touch on for 2 seconds, right? Because this has always been fascinating to me, because I've seen it happen like live, and I didn't understand why it happens. Maybe you have some theories, right? So bruh, these things. All right. So the item that you sent. What do you mean, bro? What's the last tweet that you sent me?
Bryce, I send you many tweets.
No, the last item. So anyone who doesn't know, there's this girl called Elsa Elsa Majimbo.
You're about to be problematic.
No, I'm not being problematic. I'm just hey, listen. I'm just saying it's interesting. You'll see how I go with this thing, right? So, who Elsa is, if you don't know her by name, she's very famous on social media. She's the one who, like, she has that annoying laugh, but like she says, I don't know, how do you describe her videos, bro? Like, the Kenyan chick who's always laughing, and she got followed by Rihanna, and now she's verified.
Yeah,
and all this other
she
shit.
brought those videos where basically she'd be critiquing just little things in society with the funny laugh, and she'd be eating chips while doing it.
Exactly. So she had the weird laugh. It was kind of, I mean, again, most of the videos I found her to be funny. Like, there was like, yeah, this is kind of, but then at some point it got annoying, as all social media darlings, eventually get. But anyway, so she posts her person, right? And it's again, for all intents and purposes, it looks like a white guy, right? Let's just say he's a white guy. So she's posted on Twitter, Owuti, hey, my darling, thank you so much for bringing me happiness, whatever, right? So it's a very sweet post about her partner and how much she loves him. And then someone quotes the tweet and says, I don't know how to explain it, but white people do have a type when it comes to black women. And like, again, so I won't verbally say the tweets that Senna sent to me, because those are offside as fuck. Offside. But like, so the whole thing with me, right? I've observed it, and I honestly do feel like, and it's a specific. I think it's a very, very specific type of work. At least and again, to preface all of this, I'm specifically talking about the white guys that I've seen, right? So this might not be applicable to everybody globally. So I wouldn't include any white guys, like American white guys or British white guys, because I feel like in America and the UK, there's enough integration between black
people and white people.
And black and white people, there's enough integration where, like, I've seen white guys with really, really hot black girls in America and in England, right? So this completely shatters what I'm about to say, right? But I think specifically the white guys that I've seen that come from countries that are primarily, like, super, like, there's barely any niggas.
Like Europe, from Scandinavian countries,
like
about Denmark, Sweden, Belgium. Well, Belgium has...
Belgium has a lot more, like, Belgium, obviously Belgium and France is a different story, right? That's basically, there's a lot of black people
but the countries that, like, I mean, about Denmark,
even Eastern Europe, right? So now we're talking about Croatia and, like, Russia and all these other places where it's like, again, it's not that many black people that are just straight up, like, there, right? It's in pockets. So those type of dudes, I see them a lot in Dubai, right? So especially when I was when there was when I first moved to Dubai, there's a place where I play basketball, right? So from my apartment to the basketball court, it was about a 15-minute walk. So after work, I'd walk, and it's a place called JBR. There's a strip like Sunset Boulevard, with Dubai type of thing, where you come with your supercar, your convertible, your G-Wagon, your whatever, and you just slowly kind of drive so that everybody can see you and your money, right? So I'll be walking on the strip, getting to the basketball court, and there were always, like, every, let's say, 50 meters, 100 meters, there's always these black girls that are there to try and, catch a dude, right? And like, in my opinion, they were ugly. In my opinion, like, I'd say most of them. It's my opinion, right? In my opinion, they were what I'd find. They were not attractive for anyone who's sensitive, right? To me, I saw them, and I'd say for like 60 to 70% of the ones who would be there just chilling, right? They were not attractive to me. And then obviously there's a few baddies in there who are also, same WhatsApp group, where they're like trying to catch a dude. And without fail, every single time I saw a hand getting picked up, a black hand getting picked up, it was always the least attractive to me that was getting picked up by these dudes in a fucking Range Rover or a Lambo or a G-Wagon or whatever. Like, every single time. And like, it would boggle my mind, because I'm like, bro, you left there's a baddie sitting right there in the corner. You know what I mean? Like there. She's just there. Even her eyes are open and she's shook. Oh, bruh. What's going on?
But what's your definition of a baddie in that respect?
Ego pillar. So for me, a baddie is, at least in my eyes, like you have to have
Yes.
a pretty face and you have to have a banging body, right? So that's my definition of a baddie, right? Or at the very least, a banging body. So the girls that were actually being picked up had none of that, or at least not in a way that I found to be attractive, right? So for me, if I'm one of those white guys, I would have never looked at them, right? But then for me,
so
it was the level
you
of
don't think
consistency.
Elsa falls into that category, which is actually what I was running.
No, no. For me personally, I don't think she's attractive. That's my personal opinion. I don't see her to be and at least to me, like, again, I'm not saying she's ugly or whatever in general, but I'm just saying, to me, right? Not my type, which is fine, right? I'm not somebody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and she's also not everybody's cup of tea. Get to, like, there's a few people in the world where it's like, I know you're everyone's cup of tea, right? But I don't think she's in that category. So for me, like, when I saw that quote, I'm like, you know what? Low key is a point here. Like, it's I don't know what it is about that, a certain aesthetic of certain black women, where I'm like, interesting. You know what I mean? Like, and for someone else to see the same thing, I was like, it's very peculiar, because I really thought it was just a me thing. I thought maybe Tawo was being a hater, right? Or maybe what Tawo sees as beauty, the rest of the world doesn't see as beauty.
Different.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's what I saw in my mind. So when I saw that quote, I'm like, damn, can't see my name. You know, because that shit's got like hella retweets, bro.
But do you know that she's being dragged for filth in the quotes? Or actually even asking the question.
Oh, she's being dragged.
Yeah,
actually, you know what?
Read the comments.
I'm not surprised. I am actually not surprised, because obviously, here's the thing: we're very sensitive. The moment someone starts to talk about ububi and whatever, we just seem to be very, very sensitive. No, like, bro, we talked about this last week, right? We said at the end of the day, people are allowed to have preferences, dog. People are allowed to have preferences. Right, it's okay. It's okay.
Right?
I'm sure there's someone out there,
people
out there who look at me and be like, yo, that nigga's ugly. And it's okay. I'm honestly okay with being ugly in some people's eyes, because I know I'm a bullet in certain people's eyes. I have a market. So me, I'm cool. I know I have a market. Do you know what? I'm very happy knowing I have a market.
So a lot of the comments under that tweet were funny, right? They were funny, but then in the quotes, and it's a very weird thing with Twitter, right? The comments are an entirely different place to the quoted tweets, right? So in the comments, jokes are flying, right? In the comments, jokes are flying. People are making jokes about it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But in the quotes, there's like a glamour think piece about even asking questions of that nature. So what the girl was basically implying was that there's a certain kind of black girl that white guys like. And I think what she was trying to imply, probably in a not so clever way, and I don't think you should even bring that up on social media, is that there's a sort of fetishization by a population of white guys on black women, right? But in that respect, what I think it comes across as when you ask questions like that is Uguti. It almost, and I'm trying to avoid doing this, but it almost comes across as if you're saying white guys like ugly girls, and that doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm with you. And
a lot of the outrage was, no, where you're going with this is dangerous, in the sense that when you start asking questions like that, what the answer you will get will be like, okay, maybe you're saying, Guti, they don't consider black women beautiful. We are beautiful. What are you saying? Are you saying because they like those particular type of women aren't beautiful? Are you saying they're ugly? Are you saying it's this? And that's why I think she's being dragged.
No, but so that girl is saying, she's essentially saying, Guti, yeah, to me, Lomu, right? Or this, or whatever, like you just said, the headline, which is...
But she didn't say it, right? She was trying to be slick with it.
No. Yes, she was trying to be slick with it, right? She was trying to be slick. But my point, at least my view on this whole situation is kind of, is it not okay to call someone ugly, right? Because again, I think the implication, if I say Senna's ugly, right? The implication is that it's me who does not find Senna attractive. Right, so it's not a case of right. It doesn't mean that everybody agrees with me, but I just do not see Senna as attractive. I actually see Senna as ugly, and I think at the end of the day, it's just because people take shit too far. I think that's where the sensitivity comes from. So it's like, I think if people were able to respect him, like, yeah, not everyone is attractive or whatever. The problem is that people, have been made fun of in high school and all this other stuff, where it's like, if you're called ugly, it'll fuck you up mentally, right? Like it's for the most part. We had a pod like, I think 2 years ago, where we were discussing the slang and calling hands grenades for fun in high school, right? Like, hey,
yeah,
but
that was nonsense.
So all of these things happen, and it's like there is a sensitivity to it. But like at the end of the day, I think the greater point that I was more interested in was more so like certain white guys do not see beauty in black women the same way we see beauty in black women. You know what I mean? Their definition, because obviously if they're getting with these girls, they don't go on some, hey, I'm looking for ugly black girls. You know what I mean? I genuinely believe they're going out and saying, oh, I'm looking for sexy black girls. And to them, that's their definition of sexy.
Do you not think that they just go, I just want black, irrespective of,
I mean, maybe
what black looks like.
No, so but then there would be some balance, Bella. There'd be some balance in terms of
no. But look at it this way, right? You've only dated black women. You look at black women and you go, okay, I like black women. And then within the black women, you're like, I like this type of black women.
Yes.
So for example, you like tall girls, you don't like short girls. You like brown skinned girls, not so much light skinned girls. And that's your preference.
I'm not anti-light skin. Don't lie to the people. I'm not anti-light skin. Me personally, Tom. I have no shade preference, right? I honestly do not have any shade preference of being light skin girls, dark skin girls, whatever. But I do.
Okay, fine.
I do publicly state that
discriminate based on height.
No, not on height. No, height. The height thing was new because I genuinely did not know that. And again, this was very arrogant or ignorant of me.
How was it me?
No. I'm not saying you, Bella. I'm saying me. I'm talking about me. I was very ignorant to the fact I didn't think tall, beautiful women existed. I hadn't met a tall, beautiful woman. Then obviously I was so amazed when the first tall, beautiful woman that I met, I was so amazed. I went and I married and I knocked up that woman. So that's how amazed I was at the end of the day. But I only discriminate in terms of like if you're super skinny, that's me. I'm out. Give me zero. I publicly state that me and skinny hands, we don't vibe. Like, nah, that's not me, right? And again, someone could be sensitive to that. But like, oh my god, are you saying that skinny girls are not attractive? To me, they're not, right? And that's okay, right? Because guys my size might not be attractive to a lot of other people as well, and that's fair.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Society has created a model of beauty, right? So over time, we've come to have a certain expectation and standard of what beauty means. If you're a guy, you need to be a guy who works out with a six-pack and you go to gym, you look a particular way. If you've got a cover and you're this and you're a bit, rough around the edges and all these things, then maybe you're not conventionally attractive because you're not Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans or any of these guys in the Marvel movies or in the movie industry, right?
Yeah.
And then for women, obviously, we know about Kim K, about Rihanna, about Beyonce. They've kind of, over media, we've been conditioned to believe that this is what beauty looks like. So the further you are from that kind of standard that's completely repeated to us via media, via indoctrination, or whatever it is, then the more people will view you as not so beautiful.
So what's your logic then in terms of these white guys? Then what? So what? You're just saying, good for them. They're just interested in like, oh, I've got jungle fever. I want a black girl. Whatever. You think that's their logic at the end of the day?
I think there's an argument to say that. Obviously, people do love who they love. Like you fall in love with who you fall in love with, and you might meet someone, you think they're very beautiful, you pursue them, you get married, all these things, right? And I think that is in most instances the case, but there is a lot of fetishization when it comes to it sometimes, where it's like, I just want black.
There was I can't remember which Lokuzen was it? It was a podcast or a documentary or something where they were talking about, like, in terms of super racist, there's no super racist white guys, right? Who were attracted to black girls, but they wanted them to. So obviously, because they had an idea of black women kind of looking, or black people in general, kind of like, oh, these are savages type of thing, right? And they want that aesthetic. So like they'll want a black girl who is not, untidy is not the right word, but you know what I mean, like who kind of gives off a quote unquote uncivilized type of vibe, like that's what is attractive to them, because it's like, yeah, you know what I mean. So I'll pull it out, I'll add it or whatever, I'll plug people if I can remember who was saying that. So like maybe in obviously I'm not trying to say these ones are racist or whatever, but like there is, I'm choosing to be optimistic and not go devil's advocate. I'm choosing to be optimistic and say, listen, I think that's their definition of black beauty. Because again, there's no such thing, and the reason why I don't have issues of people being called ugly or whatever or unattractive is because I know from my experience in life, every person has a market. Everyone. There's people that see Senna and be like, my God, that nigga is sexy. And there's people that see Senna and like, couldn't be me. Right, and that's fine. That's life, right? You're not going to be. There's only that 1% of people that universally were like, yo, muntu muhle. Like, and even when I see these beauty pageants, the most weird thing to me, because like a large percentage of those girls in the beauty pageants, I don't find them attractive at all. Like they're just
maybe skinny as fuck.
Yeah, it's just they don't look real to me, and it's just like, bro, you just they don't do it for me at all, right? But I know niggas who are like, yo, Miss South Africa, yo, you know what I mean? And it's, I'm like, really? I don't see it, or Miss Universe or whatever, all these things where it's like the world standard of beauty. I don't see it as that, because I have a standard of beauty that I'm looking for consistently, right? And that's why I'm like, no, it's fine. If someone says movie, it's like, if someone called me ugly, I'm sharp, thanks. You believe I'm ugly, right? But I know for a fact I've seen people who, you could be the fattest person out there. She's got a ring on her finger. Could be the skinniest girl out there. She's got a ring on her finger. She's happily married with her dude. And I'm like, you know what? Good for fucking you, man. Like, and it makes me happy because I know what? Everyone has a market. Right, so to me, I think it's if you pay too much attention to, what as a society we say is beauty, then it will fuck you up and be like, oh my God, does this mean that no one finds me attractive, whatever? But like, there's no one. I've never met anyone in life who said, you know what, I've never been able to find someone to love me. I've never bumped into a person like that. We've all been attracted to someone in some way, shape, or form. So like if to like,
and you might even find
fair enough, they have a type.
You might even find that the people who a lot of you may deem are unattractive have better luck in love.
Absolutely. I
mean, steaks and sliced bread.
Yeah. But I mean, there is that thing that say if you want to have the best babs, find like a medium ugly hand or like a chubby hand. Find an insecure hand. I'm tuning you, bro. That's what niggas say, because the Adam would be fighting for her life to try and prove a point. You know what I mean? So like, obviously now you can't go away. At that point, she's giving you the babs of a lifetime, and you're like, I can't go back to these girls that are considered to be 8s and 9s or whatever, because it's not slapping over there, but it's slapping over here. So hey, fellas, put you on some game. But again, it's not even some game, to be honest. Everybody knows this. Like that's.
No, I didn't know it, Tabo. Personally,
you're lying, Senna. Don't lie, please, Senna. Don't lie. It's one of those. Just go to a prayer, and see guys gathered in a circle. That's all you need to do. Go and stand there, right? also tell you these things because you see, and why do you think a lot of the time, right? Umuntu will have his main, yeah, and you're like, okay, no, this is Uzwanibani's main. Then Chigi Mans gets busted for cheating or whatever. The majority of the time, what's our reaction? Bruh, that's the hand. I see. The majority of the time, right? Because at least for me, I would say it's very, very rare that I'll see someone's dice and be like, but I understand. Like, it's very, very rare that I'm like, you know what? Lapa, my man stepped up. It's rare. But it's because, obviously, man prioritize what? Let's say man prioritize looks or, maybe beauty or money or something. And said, you know what, the box doesn't matter.
Or whoever's
then
there.
He bumps
sometimes.
into Uzwanibani, gives him the box of his life, and is like, damn, what do I do?
Hey, if Beyonce fell victim to this thing, guys.
Anyway, these are the type of shits like it gets niggas cancelled. But no, gents, I'm very, very sure gents will be in the DMs. They might not add us publicly, but they will definitely be in the DMs to co-sign and be like, hey, yo. This is 100%.
Then you have people
true.
sometimes who are hiding skeletons.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure there's people who are hiding skeletons. They're like, hey, I know that my guys, I'm sorry.
No, but you know what?
I don't know what happened.
If you, but honestly speaking, if you do want the best babs of your lifetime, get with someone with a point to prove, right? And again, so that just so that we're not coming off as sexist and coming for hands and whatever. If you pointed to the ladies,
even guys,
what do they? Who do they always trash? Who is the most bullied type of man on the internet right now? Is it not the broke man? The broke man is the most bullied man on the internet. But guess what? Apparently, all broke niggas have bomb ass dick. Apparently, all of a sudden, I don't know how. Don't ask me, but this is what they say. All broke niggas can lay it down. All broke niggas are fertile as fuck. all of these stereotypes are out there, and it's like, hey, listen. If you get with someone with a point to prove, if my nigga knows he's broke and he's like, hey, me, I need to lay it down, trust me, you will have an experience of a lifetime. And you zabona sum tatela malone, usum tengili lunch, usum tengili gogo, and all these things that you swore up and down on Twitter that you would never ever do. But all of a sudden you're doing, or you're quietly doing it, and then you admit later on when you've broken from the shackles of stigmatization.
Stigmatization.
Exactly. So again, it's on both sides, guys. You get with someone with a point to prove. Aha. When? Oh man. Bro. Oh man, this shit is hilarious, man. This shit is hilarious. All right, I think let's.
Wait, side note. So before we move on,
okay.
So you think that tweet was obviously Mukel is still in 200 and something quotes going right now. They're still
no. Shout out to her for not deleting. Usually by then when they're cooking you like that, those tweets you delete.
240 quoted tweets.
Damn.
She hasn't folded once.
She hasn't folded.
Nah, she hasn't folded.
Okay, I see.
But obviously people are critiquing her, like, so it's like, so it doesn't help that she's light skinned, which.
Now they're coming with the colorism, gwen.
Yes, there's a colorism point of view to it. I actually think we'll dissect this further once
once the dust is settled,
all the think pieces are once all the think pieces have compiled.
Okay,
because there's a lot of educational material there.
Yeah, no, and again, hey, Magiti is the poor girl from Skies. Oh no, she's just followed.
Is she?
No, she's followed by the city of Bulawayo. I don't understand how and why.
Okay.
Oh no, it's a parody account. Okay, never mind. So at the end of the day, here's my thing, right? The problem is, had it been someone who was quote unquote unattractive, who quoted that tweet and said that, I don't think people would have come for her like that. The problem is that, at least from her average, she looks attractive. And the moment someone ole mali talks shit about someone with no money, right? The moment someone attractive talks shit about someone unattractive, like there's people who just rush to that person's defense, and like now we're not really listening to the point that she was trying to, even though she said it wrong, I guess. Of which she didn't really say it wrong. It's just the problem. The implications now are like, bro, what are you trying to say? Then now we can now decide. So obviously, people who are pissed can decide what are the implications of what this hand is trying to say, right? And come to the defense. And I'm just like, bro, like it's, I don't know. Personally,
I don't think she was being a pick me, to be honest. But I think
no, she absolutely wasn't being.
It comes across as inviting discourse around black women and the beauty of black women, and you're making it a topic which sometimes doesn't. It probably never ends well sometimes.
Nah, but I think it's just again, at the end of the day, like I said, personally, I'm taking it as a positive thing. Hey, these white guys are just like, hey, bro, this is our definition of beauty for whatever reason it is. That's what they deem to be beautiful, right? And cool, sharp. I have no issues with that at the end of the day. But like, I just don't want, what I don't want to happen with society in general is for us to now just pretend these things don't exist, right? Like if Uta was a big guy, it's like, no, he's just big bone. Like, nigga, no. He's dudes. Like, it's okay. Get tulaga, right? I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, don't be on some, hey, let's just tiptoe around and shit. Like, sometimes you have to have some African relative in you, right? A little bit of African relative in you. And what I mean by African relative, when you go home, say, right? Go home for Christmas, go home for a wedding. Then your mother ain't seen you in a year. You put on a couple pounds. What happens? America, what? All those jabs start coming out, all these other things. It's like, bro, at the end of the day, it's like, whatever. It is what it is, right?
And all of a sudden, people become comedians.
Yeah, oh yeah. People become comedians and stuff. I mean, no, you know what? I take that back about that African relative, because that shit can be hurtful sometimes. Like, because the problem is, one comment is fine. The problem is that now, if it's now the whole family and the jokes are flying, no, then it's painful. Like, one offside, I'm cool with. I can let an offside slide. But now, once you become, the star of the day.
Several offsides.
Bruh. And like, Oza busting out in laughter, bruh. And it's like,
Oza letting it rip.
Exactly. At that point, it's just like, I'm all right. You know what I mean? But like, I think there is a balance there. There is some sort. I don't want us to pretend people are all the same. Well, okay, in as much as we can say everybody's beautiful, I think you can say everybody's ugly. You know what I mean? Like that's because it's the truth. Because all of us are not. We all have different eyes. We all have different eyes, right? So. So now, why are you nervously laughing?
No, I'm actually laughing. You know why I'm laughing, right? We do all have different eyes. Right. What I'm conscious of is trying to make it seem like white guys only date ugly black women. I don't think. But
we already
true.
Said at the beginning, there's plenty of guys who debunk that thread, that lokuzen, right? Plenty. There's plenty. Theory. So it's like I've seen white guys with baddies a lot of times. So it's not even like all white men, right? We even, at the beginning, I made sure to describe exactly who I was talking about, because that's where I've seen this particular type of combination. So I tried to be as specific as possible, just so that we have social justice warriors who listen to the pod. So just before, to make sure their Twitter fingers didn't start, no. It's very important to make sure you understand what
add a final disclaimer.
Exactly. Because you get traveled here on Twitter, bro. Wake up the next day when the podcast account is but like 1,000 mentions. You'll be fighting fires.
That's the damn going offline.
Then you have agents of chaos like Opanashi being like, man, they're right. Watching assholes get cooked for nothing, bro. Like, no, honestly, it's hard. It's really, to me, I always laugh when people are getting cooked on Twitter. Like this babe, I'll laugh. But I would really love to speak to her in this moment to be like, how do you feel? I'd really love to just know, like, do you regret pressing send? You know, like, because also if you're not really a popular person on Twitter and it happened to be that tweet that caught fire, then it's like, no, guys, I didn't mean to, right? And then all of a sudden, you end up being like Nat Sukiyama account because now the Nikki stands are coming for you.
And they're now coming for you. I think ultimately what you feel and what you do in that instance is it's noise. Unless you're like Nota, for example. So some people will be like, hey, I can't do this. So they tweet up they're the ones who fold, who immediately delete the tweet and just pretend nothing happened, and then maybe apologize. Then the ones who won't fold, who will just mute the tweet, but they're there to fight because they stand by their word. They think that all of you are wrong, I'm the only one who's right.
Yeah.
And then the other group are the ones who actually like the attention, good or bad. Like, Nota, the music guy.
Who's that?
He puts out, he's this guy in the South African music scene. He dated Berita and then she divorced him. So now he just tweets a lot of weird stuff like on the internet. Just go on Nota's Twitter. He's always being contrarian. He's always being, offering, the crowd is going this way. The right opinion is this one. He'll go the opposite direction and he just likes that outrage and that engagement. Almost like a Kanye West.
Okay.
Where you just care about stoking fires.
Hey, but we didn't even talk about Kanye. That one was wilding, bro.
Yeah. But in that moment, that girl will probably just mute it and keep it moving.
Yeah, no, this is the best. I mean, there are some agents of chaos who go there and reply every comment, bro. And I'm like, no, shout out to you for bumbling. Like, wow, you have some development in you, my nigga. Because some people are really there for it. It's like on some Jon Snow Battle of the Bastards type of energy. But yeah, just on Kanye, I don't know if you clocked. Did you see that he told everyone Wuti Chris Paul slept with Kim?
Yep, I saw it. I was shocked by that. Dude, he said he walked in on them.
But you know what?
Wasn't those his exact words?
He walked in on them. But like, what made me laugh the most was just kind of like, as if I'm Chris Paul, that's the wildest way to be caught. Where it's like, you don't, as a guy, you'd never expect a guy to just publicly publicize an L like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I feel like a guy would just take it quietly and just kind of be like, hey, bro, so good. It's like,
do you think it's an L though?
Because it is an L, bro.
I don't think he's saying it's an L more than he is saying that she's a slut.
Yeah,
I think that was the overriding message you were trying to get across.
But at the end of the day, it's like, bro, come on. Like, when it happened, why didn't you publicize it? You know what I mean? Why did you keep that saved in drafts? Like, that's my question. So if it really was that deep for you and, hey, you want to call her whatever you want to call her, right? Like, you should have told the public at that point if it was that deep. But clearly it wasn't that deep. Or there's some other context that we're missing. But like, for to wake up as Chris Paul and you're just like, I'm trending. And I'm thinking, maybe he's like, number one in the NBA all-time in assists, Gandhi. I'm seeing Chris Paul, Kanye. I'm like, what's going on? And then I see what Kanye tweeted. I'm like, wow, that's fucked up.
She was giving it up for NBA guys when he was in the mix.
Yeah, although, I mean, she does. She does like NBA guys. She's dated like 3, 4, 5 NBA guys. So that's what I got.
Do you think he's for real, or you think he's bullshitting again?
I think Kanye is mentally ill, bro. For a while I've just tuned out of what he's saying because I just think he's a guy almost like in Will Smith in the sense that he's very damaged. And in this case, this is like his cry for help. And people are sort of like, some people are taking advantage of it, giving him interviews because they want to, they know their podcast is going to go off.
I have a very big problem with that because when he initially made those first, they were mild but still offensive comments about slavery, and then about the Jews, the one that eventually made him lose the deals he lost.
Yeah.
Elon was like, no, freedom of speech, get him back on Twitter. And then Piers Morgan gave him a whole 2-hour interview, right? 2 hours. And then I remember everyone saying to Piers Morgan and Elon, they were like, Piers, you can't interview this guy who's clearly not okay for him to come and spout his hateful stuff. And then he's like, no, with the British accent, no, it's Piers Morgan Uncensored. It's freedom of speech, blah, blah, blah. That conservative white mentality. Like, we don't have freedom of speech anymore. I'm like, cool. Then he went on, I'm not sure which podcast that was, with these
with the mask
super right-wing guys. Yes, with the mask on. And then he said like proper hateful stuff, like to the point where I was like, I respect Hitler, I admire some of the things he did. And then from there, literally, that's when they took a step back because he's gone too far. And it's literally everything that everyone was saying. Bruh, this guy has a reputation of spewing nonsense. It's not freedom of speech because he will go beyond that. And lo and behold, literally a month later, he went on some, I respect Hitler, admire Hitler, I like what he did.
Yeah. No. Okay. I think it's a cry for help / attention, and it's really sad because obviously I really vibed with a lot of his music. Like his first couple of albums are like still top tier hip hop, like probably Mount Rushmore of hip hop, right? Kanye's up there. So it's just sad to see someone that you really respected a lot from a musical point of view, fall like this. And it's like, bruh, like, it's like, obviously you never want to put someone on a pedestal, but like musically, I did put him on a pedestal. Like, no, this guy is a genius. And I think he still will forever be a musical genius. But then when you see people unravel like that, I think sometimes, and it kind of lends to my theory that, to be the greatest of all time, the GOAT, like it's you have to have a little bit of like just lack of social skills almost, like for example, they say to this day Michael Jordan doesn't really have friends, right? Because when he played, he would like insult you and talk trash and all this other stuff, and it's like, he wasn't interested in being buddy with people. He was interested in crushing you and letting you know he had his foot on your neck. Right, Kobe was the same guy, and now, like, although towards the end of his career he started to like a little bit, but like you think of some of the truly great individuals, like MJ and shit, like MJ being Michael Jackson, right? The shit with the babies, and it was like, bro, what the fuck, right? And I don't know, it's almost like you can't be a functioning human being in society and also be the best there ever was, like Justin J, unequivocally type shit. Like, the problem mentally, to reach that level of greatness. Tom Brady's a chairman, to be 45 years old and still playing 45 years old on an NFL field, one of the most violent sports in the world. You know what I mean? Like, your life could, not your life, but like your career could be gone at any point with the wrong type of tackle, especially at 45 years old. You're not a young man. Those bones are not strong. But I think, it's really sad. For me, it is sad to see Kanye go out this way, because it's just like, you had all this money, and now it's like people don't even rage. People are laughing at you. You're like, you're taking this attention, but people are like, they're doing this to take advantage of you. And that's really, really sad that you don't even see that, or maybe he does and he doesn't care, but like, no. Hopefully he gets the help that he needs, because bro. Like the Hitler comments, he said that, I didn't even flinch.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't even outraged or anything. I was just kind of like, this is just sad.
Yeah.
It's just sad.
It wasn't surprising, but I think it's literally just a matter of he likes that attention and that reaction and that outrage, right? I think it's like a drug. Like clout is addictive. Like people like to think of clout in a positive way, but even negative clout is addictive for some people.
Yeah,
and that's why I made the example of Nota. Just go on Twitter and search for Nota and just have a look at his thoughts and his tweets. And
even Piers Morgan and
trying
and to be him always trying to be on Meghan Markle's back and all that other shit. So it's
although
long.
I think Piers is. he's interesting, right? I think he almost reminds me of Jonathan Moyo in a way. And that's because he will suck up to the hand that feeds him, right? So with the royal family, I think and I suspect, because he's a smart guy, right? I listen to some of his opinions and I know he genuinely puts thoughts to things. But I think he is on their payroll. The same way I think he sucks up a lot to Cristiano for more interviews because clout and all these things.
Yeah.
Not that he could probably make very good cases with Cristiano the best in the world.
Yeah.
And many people can. I think the way he goes about it goes to a kiss ass way.
Yeah. No, it's not even like, it's like I'm not even trying to listen to it. Like,
yeah, but that's the thing, right? I think he's an example of just how far one would go just to suck up to an institution that maybe pays him or maybe grants him certain favors.
Absolutely. But hey, Mr. Moy, I'm out of time. Unfortunately, we had to keep it short and sweet. But hey, yeah, we said some shit today. But it was definitely one of the funniest ones for me.
Okay. No. It was a good episode. We didn't have much time to squeeze in during the week, so we just thought, still, let's get together and do the damn thing.
Yeah. At least y'all got a pod. Really, it's just an hour at least. Possess that jumpisa, but you know what? Last minute, it happened, and we're good to go. But anyway, we can wrap it up here. We'll definitely, make out some time for the finale, give you something good to kickstart the new year. Merry Christmas, Bandu. And a happy new year. I hope a lot of you, every one of you who listens to the pod, spend some time with your families. Tell, the necessary people that you love them. Get out of the relationships. It's December. Why are you in a relationship? But get out of toxic situations. Do what's right for you. Leave that all that whatever needs to be left in this year, leave it in this year. And as Khaled, 2023 is on the way. Final question, Mr. Moy. World Cup final this weekend. Who's taking it? I know exactly what you're gonna say, but fine. Just answer the question.
I actually think it might be a step too far for Argentina, and that's just because Mbappe, bruh. I think I look at Argentina, I look at France, and I'm not too impressed by their teams. But Mbappe at this moment in time, like when I watch him, sometimes I'm like he's the quickest guy with the ball at his feet at the moment. Messi could do something. Obviously, Messi could do something, but I don't know. I feel like the pressure on Argentina is a bit much, to a point where you kind of fancy France to have an edge and nerve.
Well, for me, I'm gonna go with the team with the niggas. So it's France representing Africa. So that's who I'm going to put my trust in, the black man. And that's all the analysis that I can give you, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, guys, like the ting, subscribe to the ting, retweet the ting. And if you don't, we are inclined to believe you are a hater. Mr. Moyer?
Laters.